Hello everyone, my name is Zim Ahmadi, peminat muzik tegar budak baru belajar. Today we're going to talk about Murder by SevenCollar T-Shirt. SevenCollar T-Shirt is an alternative rock band that has been declared local indie icons on several occasions in the past. And rightfully so, they're proper indie veterans. They have released, I think, their first full-length album, Freeway, Dreaming and Broke, in 1999. Then there was a demo compilation before that. At a time when hardcore and grunge dominated the Malaysian alternative scene, especially in Greater KL, there was something slightly discerning about the SevenCollar T-Shirt, or SCTS, sound. Even from the very beginning, they were critically acclaimed, especially with the album Drones. That SCTS found their trademark symphonic direction. They became a guitar-driven rock band that loved to push their production into melancholic realms, packaged in atmospheric overtones. I think a good example of that is the song Buhura Theory. You should check that out if you want to know what I mean. And even when the band found more belligerent and hardcore streaks that pay more attention towards the grungier days of their origins, they still adopted that atmospheric overtone, especially in the album The Great Battle, with songs like Tet Offensive. And in albums like that, there's still a lot of diversity in that album as well, with slower and mellower songs like Fragile, right? But still makes you live in this world of ambience. It's very atmospheric, it's very epic, and it's always been their forte, I would say. The Murder physical album is pretty cool to own, as you can see. It's very cool conceptually. And I love the fact that it says hit list on the back of the album, referring to, the songs, the hits that they're making, but also the fact that they look like hitmen and these are all their targets, right? So there is that kind of concept that I've always found exciting the moment I first saw the album art. However, I would say the concept of the album could actually be the death of the album's performance, because when I saw this album, I expected rougher productions, more interesting digital dystopian concepts maybe, but the album art is 1,000 times more interesting than the songs itself, right? So let's talk about why. Firstly, for most of the album, SevenCollar T-Shirt doesn't really stray away from the mold that they've created for themselves in The Great Battle. In fact, most of the songs in the album don't have the same catch or hook as some of the tracks in The Great Battle that made The Great Battle special, right? A lot of it still falls into very cliche alternative rock templates with a little bit of emo influences in the vocalization, a little bit of post-rock guitars with the arpeggio, atmospheric stuff, but nothing too interesting and nothing that really hits me in my heart or in my soul when I listen to this album. They released a song, Lines, 2 years ago, and I thought that song was a great introduction to what the album could have been, but unfortunately that song is still my favorite song from the entirety of the album, because it's the brightest and has the catchiest chorus, I think, in terms of all of the other tracks in the album itself. Nothing else really meets the expectation of Lines. So the line, for example, Keep Shouting a Revival, is a centerpiece of this track, Lines, and I think it's one of the best lyrics in the entire album per se, and the way in which Saiful sings it with so much heart is so enticing and so satisfying.
Keep chasing your desires. Keep moving in the fires. Keep shouting your revival.
And then this anthemic alt-rock experience is also duplicated in Black Rain as well. There's a lot of cool atmospheric guitar drops that feel the most noir and most relevant to the concept of the album. And then there's also Chains with that thumping bass line and the riffs and the switch up between the verse and the chorus in terms of the keys and the way it's sung. It's really exciting stuff. But other than that, the rest of the album falls short of pushing any boundaries of creativity. But a standout track I really want to point out is The FLAW. Ironically, The FLAW is one of the most unique tracks with the staccato vocals that make Saiful sound like a robot belonging in a digital dystopian, and the really catchy, guitar riffs and the arrangements. If this song was emulated conceptually across the other tracks in the album, this album Murder would have been more exciting. But unfortunately, it is the only track that tries to do something unique with its arrangement. And don't get me wrong, I feel that as musicians, SevenCollar T-Shirt is still great. Like, they're all really great guitarists and drummers, and there's a lot of cool synth work in this. And I think Jeffrey Little's production work helps a lot in bringing the music to life, right? I want to take this moment to pay respect to Jeremy Little, popular producer among alternative musicians in Malaysia, who passed away recently. And I feel that the production work that happens here doesn't really do anything much. And the clean production that Jeffrey Little aims for sometimes compromises on the passion and the soul that you would have otherwise found if this album was rougher and rawer and more in your face. But since you don't have that, they just fall into bland territory. So what do I rate this album? So what do I rate Murder by SevenCollar T-Shirt? Personally, I feel this album still has a lot of good singles in it. If you're a huge fan of SevenCollar T-Shirt, you will love Lines, Black Rain, Chains, and I think The Flaw is one of the most unique tracks that they've ever made. However, in terms of production, as people who've been in the scene for a long time, they haven't really evolved beyond the horizon. They need to play catch up with a lot of bands nowadays who I think adopt a more unique persona and unique production work creatively in terms of what kind of sound they're trying to create. They still fall into 2009 in terms of that bland territory kind of aspect. They don't really do anything new, even though the alternative rock riffs still might earn a few headbangs, still might earn a few lines worth memorizing. However, because they haven't really done anything beyond what they've done before, I'm going to have to give this album a 3 out of 5. If you have anything to comment, if you disagree with me, if you're a huge SevenCollar T-Shirt fan, you should listen to this album. All of that, if you have anything to say, talk about it in the comment section down below. My name is Zim Ahmadi, peminat muzik tegar budak baru belajar. Goodbye!